If you found one in an old coffee can, a dusty piggy bank, or mixed in with pocket change from decades ago, you would probably overlook it without a second thought. Its worn surface, faded color, and smooth details might make it seem like just another old 1-cent coin that has lived a long life in circulation. But this is exactly what makes coin collecting so exciting. Sometimes the most ordinary-looking coins hide extraordinary stories, and in certain cases, they can be worth hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands of dollars, depending on their condition, rarity, and unique minting characteristics. The first coin on our list is the fascinating 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny from the United States of America. The 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny is one of those coins that deserves a much closer look before you decide it is only worth 1 cent. The Lincoln Wheat Penny series has always been one of the most beloved coin collections in American history. Introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln, it became the first regular circulating United States coin to feature the portrait of a real historical figure. The front of the coin proudly displays Lincoln's profile, while the reverse features 2 elegant wheat stalks surrounding the words 1 cent and United States of America. This iconic design remained in production until 1958, making wheat pennies a favorite among collectors around the world. Every year in the series has its own story, and the 1950 issue represents an interesting period in American history, coming just after World War II, when the country was experiencing rapid economic growth and millions of these pennies were produced for everyday commerce. Because so many 1950 wheat pennies were struck, many people believe they cannot possibly be valuable. While it is true that common circulated examples are usually worth only a small premium over face value, that assumption has caused countless collectors and ordinary people to overlook coins that were actually worth much more. The secret lies in the details. A 1950 wheat penny in exceptional condition with strong original luster, sharp design features, and very few marks can command impressive prices in today's collector market. Coins that have survived for more than 70 years without significant wear are becoming increasingly difficult to find, especially those that still retain their original mint brilliance. When examining your 1950 wheat penny, the first thing you should check is the date and then look carefully beneath it for a mint mark. If there is no mint mark, the coin was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. If you see a small D, it was struck at the Denver Mint, while an S indicates it came from the San Francisco Mint. Each mint produced different quantities, and collectors often seek high-grade examples from every mint. Although the Philadelphia issue is common, beautifully preserved examples can still bring surprisingly strong prices because collectors are always searching for the finest known specimens. Condition is one of the biggest factors that determines value. A heavily worn coin that has spent decades passing from hand to hand may only sell for a small amount, but a coin with crisp details, rich original color, and no evidence of cleaning can be worth dramatically more. Professional grading companies carefully evaluate factors such as surface preservation, strike quality, luster, and eye appeal before assigning a numerical grade. Even a single-point increase on the grading scale can sometimes mean the difference between a coin worth a few dollars and one worth several $100s. Collectors also pay close attention to the color of copper coins. Freshly preserved copper pennies often display a bright reddish-orange appearance and are classified as red. Coins that have begun changing color are labeled red-brown, while those that have fully toned over the decades are known as brown. Surprisingly, 2 coins with the same date and grade can have very different values simply because of their color designation. Original red examples are generally the most desirable because they are much harder to find after so many years. Another reason the 1950 wheat penny attracts attention is the possibility of mint errors and die varieties. During the minting process, small mistakes sometimes occurred, creating coins with doubled lettering, off-center strikes, die cracks, clip planchets, or other unusual characteristics. These mint errors are often highly collectible because they are accidental and usually much scarcer than normal coins. A collector discovering an authentic error on a 1950 wheat penny could find that the coin is worth many times more than a standard example. Imagine searching through an old family coin collection that has been stored away for decades. You notice a worn 1950 wheat penny that most people would ignore. After looking more closely under good lighting and magnification, you discover unusual doubling on the lettering or an interesting mint error. That ordinary-looking penny could suddenly become the highlight of the collection. Stories like these are one of the reasons coin collecting continues to grow in popularity. Hidden treasures are still being found every year, often in places where nobody expected them. One of the biggest mistakes new collectors make is cleaning old coins. It can be tempting to polish a dirty penny until it shines, but cleaning almost always reduces collector value. Professional collectors prefer coins with natural surfaces, even if they show age and tunning. Scratches from cleaning are easy for experts to identify, and they can significantly lower the price a buyer is willing to pay. If you believe you have a valuable 1950 wheat penny, it is always best to leave it exactly as you found it. Over the years, outstanding examples of the 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny, certified in the highest mint state grades, have sold for hundreds and even thousands of dollars at major auctions, proving that condition truly is everything. While most examples found in circulation are not worth those record-breaking prices, the possibility of discovering a premium quality specimen keeps collectors searching through old jars, estate collections, and inherited coin albums every single day. So before you spend or overlook that old 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny, take a few extra minutes to inspect it carefully. Check the mint mark, study the condition, look for unusual errors, and preserve the coin properly. What appears to be an ordinary 1-cent piece could turn out to be a collectible treasure with a story spanning more than 7 decades of American history. And that is the magic of coin collecting. You never know when a simple penny could become the most exciting discovery in your collection. Now that you've learned the hidden story behind the 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny, stay with us because the next coin on our countdown may be even more surprising. Some of the pennies coming up have shocked collectors with incredible auction prices despite looking worn and ordinary, so don't go anywhere. The next coin could be the one hiding in your own collection right now. The most fascinating Lincoln Wheat Pennies ever found, and our second coin is a piece that many people have seen but very few have truly examined closely. We are talking about the 1951 D. Lincoln Wheat Penny from the United States of America. At first glance, a dirty and heavily worn 1951 D penny may look completely ordinary. It may have dark surfaces, faded details, scratches from decades of circulation, and a color that no longer resembles the bright copper shine it once had when it left the Denver Mint. Most people would simply toss it into a jar of spare change without giving it another thought. But experienced collectors know that appearances can be deceiving, and some of the most valuable discoveries begin with a coin that looks exactly like this. Imagine reaching into an old wooden box stored away in an attic for decades. Inside are dozens of coins collected by a parent or grandparent many years ago. Among the silver coins and foreign currency sits a dark brown wheat penny covered with years of dirt and wear. The date is still visible, and beneath it you notice a small letter D. To most people, it is just another old penny. But to a coin enthusiast, that little mint mark instantly sparks curiosity. Questions begin to form. How long has this coin been in circulation? How many hands has it passed through? Could it have an unusual variety? Could it possess characteristics that make it more desirable than the average example? These questions are what make coin collecting such an exciting hobby. The story of the 1951 D. Wheat Penny begins in Denver, Colorado, where millions of pennies were produced to meet the needs of a growing American economy. The nation was entering a period of prosperity. Businesses were expanding, and coins flowed constantly through banks, stores, restaurants, and households. Every penny struck at the Denver Mint was intended for everyday commerce. Nobody at the time imagined that collectors decades later would be carefully examining these coins under magnification, searching for tiny details that could affect their value. When a 1951 wheat penny was first released, it displayed a bright copper-red color and sharp details throughout the design. Abraham Lincoln's portrait appeared strong and well-defined. The lettering was crisp, and the wheat stalks on the reverse side showed intricate detail. Over time, however, most examples entered circulation and experienced years of use. They traveled through cash registers, pockets, purses, vending machines, and banks. Every transaction left its mark. Gradually, the bright copper surfaces darkened. Small scratches accumulated. The highest points of the design began to wear away. After decades of circulation, many examples developed the dirty appearance that collectors frequently encounter today. One of the most fascinating aspects of coin collecting is that a dirty condition does not automatically mean a coin lacks value. In fact, some collectors enjoy searching through worn examples because valuable varieties and errors can still be identified even after significant circulation. A coin may look rough on the surface while still possessing characteristics that make it desirable. This is why experienced collectors rarely dismiss an old wheat penny without examining it carefully. As you hold a worn 1951 wheat penny in your hand, you are holding a small piece of history. Think about the events that occurred during its lifetime. This coin may have been used during the early years of television. It may have purchased candy for a child in the 1950s. It may have passed through countless communities across the United States. It survived changing economic conditions, technological advances, and generations of ownership. Every scratch and mark tells part of a story that can never be fully reconstructed. Collectors often begin by studying the coin's mint mark. The small d beneath the date indicates that the coin was struck at the Denver Mint. Denver produced a substantial number of pennies in 1951, but finding examples with exceptional preservation becomes increasingly difficult as time passes. Most surviving coins experienced years of circulation, making high-grade examples considerably scarcer than the original production numbers might suggest. This difference between total mintage and surviving quality examples is one reason collectors continue searching for outstanding specimens. A dirty 1951 wheat penny can also attract attention because dirt and tunning sometimes conceal interesting features. Under proper lighting and magnification, collectors occasionally discover die cracks, repunched mint marks, or other unusual characteristics that were not immediately visible. The excitement of uncovering such details is one of the reasons many enthusiasts spend hours examining old coins. Every coin offers the possibility of a new discovery. The reverse side of the 1951 wheat penny is particularly important to examine. The wheat ears surrounding the words 1 cent and United States of America can reveal much about the coin's condition. Even on worn examples, certain details may remain visible. Collectors often study how much detail remains in the wheat lines because it provides clues about the amount of circulation the coin experienced. Small differences in wear can significantly affect collector interest and market value. Many people are surprised to learn that coin value is not determined solely by rarity. Eye appeal also plays a major role. A naturally aged coin with attractive tunning may be more desirable than a harshly cleaned example. This is especially important for dirty wheat pennies. Some owners make the mistake of cleaning old coins in an attempt to improve their appearance. Unfortunately, cleaning often leaves scratches and unnatural surfaces that reduce collector value. Experienced collectors generally prefer original surfaces, even when they appear dark or dirty. The 1951 wheat penny has remained popular among collectors because it belongs to one of the most beloved coin series in American history. The Lincoln Wheat design is instantly recognizable, and many collectors remember searching for wheat pennies as children. That nostalgia continues to fuel interest in the series today. Every year, thousands of people begin coin collecting by sorting through jars of old pennies, hoping to find a wheat penny hiding among modern coins. When they discover a 1951 D example, it often becomes a gateway into the larger world of numismatics. Another reason collectors pay attention to old wheat pennies is the possibility of finding coins with unusually strong strikes. During the minting process, slight differences in production quality occurred. Some coins received sharper strikes than others, resulting in stronger details and better overall appearance. Even among circulated examples, collectors sometimes encounter coins that display unusually attractive features. These pieces often stand out when compared with average examples from the same year. Stories of valuable discoveries continue to inspire collectors around the world. There have been countless instances where people inherited collections, opened forgotten boxes, or searched through old coin jars and discovered pieces worth far more than expected. While most 1951 D wheat pennies are not worth a fortune, the possibility of finding an exceptional example keeps the hunt exciting. Every collector dreams of uncovering something special, and sometimes that dream becomes reality. As we continue exploring the remarkable world of Lincoln Wheat Pennies, remember that value often hides beneath the surface. A dirty coin may appear ordinary, but careful examination can reveal details that transform the way collectors view it. The 1951 D wheat penny serves as a perfect reminder that history, rarity, condition, and collector demand all combine to determine a coin's significance. The next time you encounter an old wheat penny covered in dirt and wear, take a closer look before setting it aside. You never know what secrets might be waiting to be discovered within that small piece of American history. If you've been enjoying this journey through some of America's most fascinating Lincoln Wheat Pennies, you're going to love the next coin on our list. Our third coin is the famous 1957 D Lincoln Wheat Penny from the United States of America. At first glance, this coin doesn't seem rare at all. In fact, millions of Americans use this penny every single day to buy groceries, newspapers, candy, and countless other everyday items. Today, many people still find 1957 D wheat pennies tucked away in old jars, forgotten collections, inherited coin albums, and dusty boxes stored in attics or basements. Because they appear so frequently, most people assume they are worth only 1 cent. However, experienced collectors know that making assumptions is one of the biggest mistakes anyone can make in the world of coin collecting. Sometimes the difference between an ordinary coin and an extraordinary one comes down to tiny details that are almost impossible to notice without careful inspection. The story of the 1957 D Lincoln Wheat Penny begins at the Denver Mint, where skilled workers produced millions of pennies to keep up with the demands of a rapidly growing American economy. Every coin started as a blank copper planchet before being struck under tremendous pressure by specially engraved dies. Within a fraction of a second, Abraham Lincoln's portrait appeared on one side while the familiar wheat ears surrounded the words 1 cent and United States of America on the other. These coins were never intended to become collectors' items. They were simply made to circulate through stores, banks, restaurants, vending machines, and businesses across the country. Yet more than half a century later, collectors continue searching for exceptional examples, proving that even the most common coins can become treasured pieces of history. Imagine finding a dark brown 1957 D wheat penny while sorting through an old coffee can filled with loose change that has been sitting untouched for decades. At first, the coin appears dirty and worn. The copper has developed a deep chocolate color from years of natural aging. The highest points of Lincoln's portrait show signs of circulation, and the wheat stalks on the reverse have softened from decades of use. Most people would simply place it back in the jar without another thought. But an experienced collector would immediately begin examining the date, the Denver Mint mark, the lettering, the rims, and every tiny detail under bright lighting. Why? Because remarkable discoveries often begin with coins that look completely ordinary. One of the reasons the 1957 wheat penny remains popular is that condition plays such a significant role in determining value. A heavily circulated example may carry only a modest premium, while a beautifully preserved coin with original mint luster and sharp details can command much stronger prices among collectors. Coins that escape circulation shortly after leaving the mint are becoming increasingly difficult to locate, because most examples spent years being exchanged in everyday commerce. Every decade that passes makes untouched examples even more desirable. Collectors also know that the 1957 wheat penny deserves careful examination for interesting varieties and minting errors. During the minting process, tiny imperfections sometimes developed in the dies or striking equipment. These accidental variations created coins that differ from normal issues, and collectors often pay significant premiums for authentic examples. Even small differences in lettering, doubling, die cracks, or striking quality can attract attention within the numismatic community. That is why experienced collectors rarely dismiss any old wheat penny without taking a closer look. Holding a 1957 wheat penny is like holding a small piece of American history. Think about everything this coin may have witnessed during its lifetime. It may have passed through the hands of children buying candy after school, workers paying for lunch during the late 1950s, families shopping at neighborhood grocery stores, or travelers stopping at roadside diners during cross-country vacations. Every scratch, every mark, and every bit of natural wear represents decades of real use. Unlike modern collectibles produced specifically for collectors, this penny earned its history through everyday life. Many beginning collectors believe they should clean dirty coins to make them look newer. Unfortunately, this is one of the most common mistakes in coin collecting. Cleaning often removes the natural surface that collectors value and leaves fine scratches that permanently reduce a coin's appeal. A naturally toned 1957 wheat penny with honest wear is usually much more desirable than one that has been polished to an unnatural shine. Professional collectors appreciate originality, and preserving that originality is one of the best ways to protect a coin's potential value. The excitement surrounding the 1957 wheat penny continues because remarkable finds still happen today. Every year, collectors discover forgotten collections hidden in old homes, inherited coin albums passed down through generations, and jars of spare change that have remained untouched for decades. While most 1957 wheat pennies are common circulated coins, every search carries the possibility of uncovering an unusually well-preserved example or an interesting mint variety. That possibility is what keeps the hobby exciting. Every old penny deserves a careful look because you never know when an ordinary coin could turn into an unforgettable discovery. As our journey through the Lincoln Wheat Penny series continues, the 1957 reminds us that history is often found in the smallest objects. A coin that once purchased only a single piece of candy can now become a treasured collectible, admired for its history, craftsmanship, and connection to the past. Before you overlook a worn 1957 wheat penny in your own collection, take a few extra moments to study it carefully. The next great discovery might already be sitting in your pocket, waiting for someone who understands that even the most ordinary-looking penny can tell an extraordinary story. Now it's time for the fourth coin in today's countdown, and this is one that many collectors have overlooked for years. The 1956 Lincoln Wheat Penny from the United States of America. At first glance, this little copper coin may seem like just another ordinary penny that has spent decades passing from one pocket to another, picking up scratches, discoloration, and signs of heavy circulation along the way. Most people would never imagine that a worn 1956 wheat penny could attract the attention of collectors. Yet the world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and sometimes the coins that appear the least impressive end up telling the most fascinating stories. Produced at the Denver Mint and identified by the small D mint mark beneath the date, the 1956 Lincoln Wheat Penny was struck during the final years of the famous wheat cent series, which had already become one of the most recognizable coin designs in American history. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse features the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, while the reverse proudly displays two elegant wheat ears surrounding the words 1 cent and United States of America, a design that symbolizes the nation's agricultural heritage and remained in production from 1909 through 1958. Every 1956 wheat penny represents a small piece of American history, traveling through grocery stores, gas stations, schools, restaurants, and family businesses before eventually finding its way into collections, coin jars, and forgotten drawers. Although hundreds of millions of these pennies were struck, collectors know that mintage numbers alone never determine a coin's value. What truly matters is condition, rarity, eye appeal, and the possibility of unusual mint errors. A heavily circulated example may be worth only a modest premium over face value, but an uncirculated specimen with strong original luster, sharp details, and attractive color can command significantly higher prices among dedicated collectors. Even more exciting are the rare error coins that occasionally escape the Denver Mint's quality control process. Collectors carefully inspect every 1956 wheat penny for doubled lettering, die cracks, die chips, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, lamination errors, and other unusual characteristics that can transform an ordinary 1-cent coin into a remarkable collectible. Some of these mint errors are so unusual that they have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars when authenticated and professionally graded. That is why experienced collectors never ignore an old wheat penny simply because it appears dirty or worn. Instead, they examine every detail under magnification, searching for tiny clues that could reveal a hidden treasure. The original color of the coin also plays an important role in determining value. Coins that have retained their bright red copper surfaces are generally more desirable than those that have naturally toned brown over the decades, especially when they remain free of major marks or damage. Professional grading services carefully evaluate each coin based on strike quality, surface preservation, luster, and overall eye appeal, and a high mint state grade can dramatically increase the value of a 1956 wheat penny. Over the years, exceptional examples have achieved impressive auction prices because collectors are always willing to compete for the finest known pieces. Even if your coin has spent decades in circulation, it is still worth taking a close look before spending it or tossing it back into a jar of loose change. Check the date, confirm the Denver Mint mark, inspect both sides under a bright light, and look carefully for unusual doubling, cracks, or striking errors that separate ordinary coins from extraordinary discoveries. Every old wheat penny has a story to tell, and sometimes that story includes an unexpected value that surprises even seasoned collectors. The 1956 Lincoln Wheat Penny reminds us that hidden treasures are not always shiny or perfect. Sometimes they are worn, faded, and overlooked, waiting patiently for someone with a curious eye to recognize their true importance. As we continue today's countdown, remember that the next coin on our list has an even more fascinating history and could reveal another incredible surprise hiding in plain sight.